What's going on, everybody? This is Tony. Welcome you back to the 6th episode of Tony's Keys, the weekly series where I use my CLZ Comics app and I let them pick the keys that I'm going to be spotlighting in this video. So let's roll that intro and we'll get right to it. All right, before we get started, I want to thank everybody for all the encouraging comments about the series. When I started doing this, I really didn't think anybody would care, but apparently a lot of you are really digging this stuff. So as long as y'all keep liking them, I'm going to keep making them. And we're going to start off with the first book of this episode. It's from 1992. It's part of my very long run, that's what she said, of Captain America. We're going to start with issue number 405. This is the first appearance of the Catwolf. I don't remember the story that well, but it was like a 6-issue series. But basically, Cat becomes a werewolf. I believe he gets with a bunch of other wolves and they end up fighting, and I believe Cable ends up showing up, and Wolverine may have actually made an appearance as well. I don't remember. But it was a pretty little fun read, and like I said, it's part of my Captain America run that I have from like issue, I want to say it's issue 262 all the way to 429. It's a big run. Anyway, it's a still affordable read. It's a pretty fun little book, and if you want to pick it up, I'd say pick it up because you probably find it in the dollar bins. All right, so next up, from 1993, during the summers of 1993, all the Marvel annuals came polybagged with a rookie trading card. Each one had a first appearance of a character. This is Uncanny X-Men issue number 17. Mine's not polybagged, nor do I have the card, but it is the first appearance of the Executioner. During the time, he was a pretty cool character, and that's about all I can tell you. I want to say he was a government operative. I'm not really sure. If memory serves correct, he used like pieces of the uniform and tech from Vanquished Villains. I may have that wrong. That don't sound right. But anyway, it's a fun story to read. I haven't read this thing in 30 years. But like I said, all the annuals from this year came polybagged with a rookie card. Mine has neither. And it's not something I'm going to go seek out, but if I ever actually find a polybag copy with the card, I'll probably go ahead and pick it up. All right, next up, from DC from 2022, this is a variant of Punchline, the Gotham game, issue number 1. I believe this is the Derek Chew variant. Don't hold me to that. And the key significance is that it's the first appearance of Ventura Fremont, first appearance of the Queen of Hearts, and the first appearance of the King of Hearts. Basically, in this whole series, Punchline's raising hell. Has a lot to do with cyber stuff. I believe there's like a hacker or something involved in it. I don't remember his name. And she ends up creating her own Royal Flush game, something like that. I may be wrong, but it was a pretty good series. That's the problem with reading books right after the other. Unless it's just something that really grabs my attention, I tend to forget. But I will spotlight, like I said, this is a beautiful Derek Chew variant cover. I believe this whole set, when I got them by LCS at the time, he gave me the variants of every one of them. So that's pretty cool. Alright, next up, spinning out of the pages of Something is Killing the Children from 2021, we have House of Slaughter, issue number 1. This is the first appearance of Jace Boucher, the lover of Aaron Slaughter, and this whole story, the first arc talks about his relationship with Aaron, and that's all I can remember. It's a pretty good series. I still read it along with Something's Killing the Children. I'm going to show off some of the variants I got of these. It's a nice little shiny variant. That one was done by Weather Deladera. I know I'm pushing that. It's a 1 in 25 incentive. Then I have the Mutant Beaver Trinity Comics Katina black and white variant, which is pretty awesome. I actually won that one from Mike Spider Slayer, Comic Book Quarter 2.0 in one of his contests. And then I got the local comic shop day variant as well. I didn't actually intend on getting all these books. It just happens. And it is what it is. But yeah, House of Slaughter, I don't think it's as good as Something is Killing the Children, but it's had some pretty interesting stories, and it's been enough to keep me interested in buying it every month. Next up, 2019. In all these videos, I often say that it's looking funny that we have a Spawn book in every video. I think last video we didn't have one, but he's back. So in this one we have Spawn issue number 297. That is a gorgeous black and white cover. I'm gonna look, see, it was done by Francisco Matina and Todd McFarlane. This is a beautiful black and white cover. I picked this up from the Batcave in Conway, Arkansas, when I was trying to collect some Spawn books when I started looking for 300. That is gorgeous. If I can ever get issues 302 to 306, I will have a run of Spawn from this issue all the way up to the current series. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. You know, Spawn is something to Killing the Children, or the books that I get happy every time I get one. So, this one's for you, Durs. If you like it. So, from 1982, spanning out of his first limited series, we have Wolverine issue number 2. And the key significance of this is that it is the first appearance of Yukio. Now, I believe Yukio was in the Deadpool movies. I may be wrong. Maybe a different character. But this is pretty cool. The interesting thing about this series for me is I have issues 2, 3, and 4 in first prints. And it's a nice little newsie. Really awesome cover. But I don't have issue 1 except in reprint. And I'm hoping one of these days I can remedy that, so that way I'll have the full set from first prints. But for now, the reprint will do. And yeah, this is a pretty awesome series. I believe Wolverine goes to Japan. This is where he deals with Mariko Yoshida. I believe she first appeared in the XMen comics. I really don't remember what issue she first appeared in. But this was a pretty good series to read, and you can get it in trade, because I know the first issue for sure is expensive. Next up, from 1986, everybody knows how much I like John Walker character. I showed his first appearance as Captain America in issue 333 in the previous video. So now we're going to talk about his actual first appearance in Captain America issue 323. Now that I think that it's pretty interesting that 10 issues later he'd be Captain America. But yeah, this is the first appearance of John Walker as the Super Patriot. And it's also one of those 25th anniversary border covers. Pretty good story. And I'm going to tell you, as far as his guises, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I liked him better as Super Patriot. I mean, you could call him an anti-hero, but he was always a thorn in Cap's side, making fun of him because he thought he was an old relic and didn't deserve to be the symbol of America. That was pretty cool. So it was an ironic choice when they picked him to be Cap, but I love the character nonetheless. And it's a pretty good story. And like I said, this is part of that long run that I did from Cap 262 to 429. All right, so next up from 2020, we have a third print of this book. This is The Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, issue number 3. This is listed as the first full appearance of Punchline. I know there's a debate between this one and one of the Batman books. I think she's in a few pictures of this one, but this one is listed as the first full appearance of Punchline. This is a nice third print that I got out of a pack that I bought from Walmart. I actually bought 2 packs, got 2 copies, and I gave one of them to my daughter because I thought she would enjoy the Punchline character as much as she enjoyed Harley. I don't know if she actually does. But if you get the chance, you can pick it up. I know the first prints are still a little pricey. I'm not sure on second. And if you're lucky, I doubt it, but if you're lucky, you might be able to find one of these Walmart packs that has that in there. But it's been a while, so I would say it's highly unlikely. But if you're into the Punchline character, I would definitely recommend picking up at least one version of this book. Alright, so next up, these last 4 books in this episode, if my buddy Durs will permit me, I'm going to say we're going to Banger Street. And this next one is I consider it a good first appearance, because I'm surprised it took 6 episodes for the CLZ to pull this book. That is a crime on the CLZ app. But we are not going to be talking about key issues without talking about the coolest Marvel character ever created in history. And I'm talking about Darkhawk #1, baby. 1991, this is the first appearance of Darkhawk. This is the only book you need. Hoard it like toilet paper because it's gold. And, you know, fill you up a long box full of Darkhawk. And seriously, this is a really fun book to read. It was a pretty good series when it came out. Next up, 1998, we have Daredevil issue number 9. This is the first appearance of Echo. And a little story about this one. I was at LCS when they were in a flea market, and I know when they read this, when they see this, they're going to kick themselves in the butt. But keep in mind, when I picked this up, this was before the Echo hype, so it is what it is. But I was going through their boxes one time when I was waiting on them to, I believe I was waiting on them to send off my first CBCS submission. And I was picking through their books, and I found issue 9, 10, 11, and 12 for $4 a piece, so I bought them. Now, granted, when I bought the books, it was the covers that caught my attention. I did not know that this had any key significance until I got home and looked it up on the app. And I realized it was the first appearance of Echo. That's one. I've yet to find another one that cheap. This is not an expensive, or excuse me, this is not a very cheap book. There's talk of the Echo series still coming, so that's kind of keeping the prices up a little bit. But if you get a chance to read them, I actually read the series. It's a pretty good storyline. The character, I always consider the character Echo pretty interesting. Kind of gave me Elektra vibes, don't know why. But she is a fun character, you know, to read, even when she turns into the Phoenix later on. But anyway, if you get a chance to pick this up, go ahead and do it. Don't do it for the movie spec. Don't do it for the TV spec or whatever. Just do it because you either like the character or you want to pick up a cool Daredevil. More book to go after this one. Now, in the last video, we talked about the conclusion of a very popular Chris Claremont X-Men storyline. Yeah, so we're going to talk about another one. This was a very short storyline, but the next book is Uncanny X-Men issue number 142. I need a better copy, but I love that book as it is. This is part 2 of Days of Future Past, and the key significance is that it's the death of Wolverine, Colossus, and Storm from an alternate reality. Now, everybody talks about Dark Phoenix Saga, and it is, like I said, it is one of the best X-Men stories. This would probably be the second one. Anytime you talk to anybody that talks about the Chris Claremont X-Men era, the first 2 storylines that come up is the Dark Phoenix Saga and Days of Future Past. You know, they actually had an X-Men Days of Future Past movie that was kind of loosely based on it. You know, in the movie, I believe it was Wolverine that went back, but in the comics, it was Kitty Pryde. And like I said, I just love showing that cover off. Pretty cool. It's another great key, especially if you're trying to collect the Claremont run. Good luck with that one, because it spanned from like issue 94 to, oh Lord, all the way up to 1991. I believe it was 280, somewhere around there. I may have that wrong, I don't remember. But anyway, it is a great book to have. And you can buy it in trade, reprints, whatever. But yeah, because these single issues, they can be a little expensive depending on where you buy them. But I do recommend the story nonetheless. Buy it for the story. We're going to finish this up with another Uncanny X-Men book, back-to-back Uncanny X-Men classics. Pretty cool. Now, in another video, I stated that I did an annual. I said that was his first appearance, and this was considered his first full appearance. So I'm not getting into that debate. It is what it is. I have both. I don't care. This is Uncanny X-Men issue 266. It is listed as the first full appearance of Gambit. Argument aside, if you can afford to get both of them, get them. The annual's cheaper right now. A lot of people don't bother going after it, so go after that one first, because this one is the money book. For some reason, this is the one that everybody throws their money on. I got mine. Now, I'm going to tell a little story, but mine is an 8.5 from CBCS, and the story for this one is, my cousin's watching. My cousin, okay, so back in the 90s, I had a copy of this, that got stolen. It is what it is. Apparently they liked the book more than I did. And I had a buddy, my cousin, he knew how much it just gutted me that that book is gone, because Gambit is one of my favorite characters. I love Gambit. So, unbeknownst to me, he buys a copy off eBay and he gives it to me. And I clean and press it and send it to CBCS, and that's what it got. If it wasn't for my cousin, I wouldn't have this book. Plain and simple. So I always want to thank him for getting it back for me. Because like I said, Gambit is my favorite X-Men character. And like I said, if you're going to collect books, collect them because you like the books. Collect them because you like the stories or the art. Don't buy them for spec, because there is some spec that maybe, possibly, Gambit might show up in Deadpool 3. Who knows? I'm going to say highly unlikely, but I mean, what the hell do I know? And but yeah, just pick it up because you like the character or the story or the art or whatever. Don't ever pick up anything because of spec. My opinion, and I may make some people mad when I say this, in my opinion, spec is stupid. I said it. It is what it is. I want to thank everybody for watching this episode of Tony's Keys. I hope you enjoyed it. Tune in next week for episode 7. We'll look at more keys selected by the CLZ app. We'll see what the app picks for me. Until next time, take it easy, be safe, and God bless. And thank you for your support.